Thank you for that. Sometimes when you listen to points like that, to points that have been raised by Greece for many, many years but haven't been surfacing around, and you hear it from international analysts, it sounds like music, but in the same time, it's like horror movie music, when everybody comes to realization that this neighborhood is still a dangerous neighborhood. And this is something that is actually not only our fault, but it's not only also not our goal. Post-war security, as we knew it, collapsed in 2022. Russian invasion in Ukraine was a reality check for all the miscalculations that they have been done over decades. And challenges in security, but not only security, will continue for 2023. We are sure that energy crisis, food security, migration, inflation, pressure on global supply chains, and geopolitical competition will be still in 2023 the main task of our discussion. If there is a lesson learned out of the war in Ukraine, is that actually what Mr. Putin tried to accomplish through that, and this is the minimal presence of the US in the region, the minimum power of NATO, nothing of this actually happened. It has happened the exact opposite. NATO assertives is enlarging, European unity is even stronger than before, and of course, the efforts for energy autonomy throughout Europe are ramping up. This puts also Greece in a position of facing major questions that puzzled our internal and foreign policy for decades. We took a clear stand from the first moment. We stand with Ukraine. We stand against revisionism, and we are ready to support Ukraine's independence. And this was a very wise decision made. Because Greece always and will be always against any revisionist power that want to change borders and security architecture by the use of force. And this is something that actually highlighted our policy in 2022 and will be followed in 2023. Furthermore, we try also to create a positive agenda in our foreign policy, and this positive agenda has to do with our location, with the Eastern Mediterranean. And we foster the multiple cooperation in energy and security with all our neighboring countries. And we believe in what we actually preaching in the framework of European Union is that Eastern Mediterranean is not only an area of interest for Greece, but it's an area of interest for the whole security of Europe. All the crises that have happened in the Mediterranean, in Libya, in Syria, really affected European unity through migration, and actually deprived Europe from crucial economic, trade, and energy partners. Therefore, stability in the region should be enhanced, and therefore our critical and very important strategic alliance and cooperation with Israel is a cornerstone of our policy. And if there is something that I could reassure the two ambassadors here, is that now there is no political force in Greece actually putting in question mark our strategic cooperation with the United States and with Israel. And with these partners, we want to foster more our cooperation because we believe that we share the same values, the same principles, and the same goals for peace and security in the Eastern Mediterranean region. I don't want to actually consume all of my time, or actually go more than my time, but I would like to say a note for the energy policy, which is highly connected with our foreign policy. Energy interconnectivity has become also a critical policy of the Mitsotakis government. We try to become the hub for energy in the Balkans. We try to be the hub of energy for the Eastern Mediterranean and to find ways to connect ourselves with the rest of the world, and especially the region of Middle East. Therefore, our cooperation in Egypt on energy is very important. We have formed trilateral schemes with Cyprus, Israel, and Greece, and another one with Egypt that actually is moving forward in other areas. Lately, we have signed an agreement with Egypt for the relocation of field workers in Greece, signalizing that our cooperation can expand out of the rigid margins of the geopolitical cooperation, go into people-to-people cooperation, business-to-business cooperation, which is also very important. But also, I think it's important to highlight the fact that in 2022, we have managed to be sufficient enough in energy resources. 50% of our energy is coming out of renewable resources, and this is a record for the Greek energy production. And for the next years, we are planning to even increase these numbers. And of course, the connectivity that we are planning to do with Egypt in the exploitation of the gas reserves and the newly found gas reserves in the exclusive economic zone of Cyprus, of Israel, and of Egypt, and the way that this can be moved into Europe. A final point on Turkey. I think that what still all the Western alliance hasn't figured out how to deal is how to count Turkey. Whether Turkey is a stable ally or is leaning to other areas. And this is a deep question that has to be made within the framework of both EU, that Turkey is a candidate member state, and of NATO, in which Turkey is a counterproductive ally, since it's the only country not ratifying the urgent NATO enlargement towards Finland and Sweden. To our end, we try our best to defend ourselves. We have become the #1 country in defense spending in NATO, and we have actually, with the cooperation of all our partners, trying to make our armed forces even more better than before, but also we are committed in defending international law, and especially the law of the seas. And although we are open for dialogue, we are not open to discuss about Greek sovereignty on the islands of Eastern Aegean. Thank you very much.
Thank you.